40 is a big number. James Harden's hit it 20 times this year, and now you can get 40% off at The Athletic by going to theathletic.com/thinkingbasketball. They feature huge names like David Aldridge and John Hollinger, and also have great in-depth bubble coverage for every team. You can download the app, customize who you want to follow, and you also help support this channel by heading over to theathletic.com/thinkingbasketball for that 40% off. The NBA is back, and so are 5 thoughts, starting with Michael Porter Jr. With 4 months off, some young player was bound to spring forward, and if you had Porter on your breakout bingo card, you might have BINGO now. The 22-year-old rookie is averaging a cool 26 points per game in the bubble, on blistering 76% true shooting, and this hasn't been hero ball either. He's shown tremendous off-ball activity for an oversized wing. This is a great back cut. The defender's watching the ball, and MPJ cuts wide into newly vacated space, and he's got a layup if the pass isn't off the mark. Here's another subtle trick discussed in this year's movement video, a little arm-on-arm discard with a hard left foot plant. And the thing I really love about Porter off the ball is just how big of a target he presents. At nearly 6'11" in shoes, he's like a giant wide receiver in football, allowing passers to float these in at least a foot higher because he's so big. Porter's size makes finishing at the end of cuts way more dangerous. Denver's center usually throws this, so Porter's just bigger than everyone else on the paint catch, and this can open up duck-ins and seals when a smaller guard is on him that most outside shooters can't expose. His height also leads to putback opportunities. Cutting here strains this defender zoning up 2 players, and he's completely overwhelmed by the larger Porter, and MPJ is often the biggest guy in the lane in today's NBA. Even if a pass doesn't find him, he can clean up for teammates with these basket cuts. I'm also impressed with how instinctive this movement is. The second this defender's head turns, he's filling the space, and he's just way bigger than the other kids on the playground. Here, the timing is perfect, going on the swing pass because it sends this defender in the wrong direction, and that should be a layup. These instincts show up on broken plays too, where defenders relax for a second and Porter heads into soft spots in the defense, and of course, all of this blends with that shooting stroke that opponents have to honor. Teams really don't want to leave him unguarded. You can see how smooth his form is, and the high release allows him to rise up and shoot right over most defenders. Porter hit 42% on about 100 threes this year before the shutdown, and he's just more confidently firing moonshots right over guys in the bubble now. And while 4 games is an awfully small sample in basketball, I don't think this is a fluke. Portland devoted Gary Trent Jr. to just hounding him throughout their game, and Porter still dropped an efficient 27 points. He still has plenty of room to grow and learn the game. For instance, understanding how to navigate screens has been a challenge and a clear area to improve, but that size has helped him in other areas defensively, and he's had moments where he's been fairly passable on that end. I'm not sure what the future holds for Porter, but right now he gives Denver a legitimate high-level scoring weapon on a top 5 offense. Thought number 2 is about Jamal Murray's growth. Murray's still somehow only 23, and so I asked Thinking Basketball video coordinator Mike De La Rosa to look at Jamal's growth potential on offense and defense, and here's what Mike had to say.
I think the most realistic and valuable improvement Murray could make is his pull-up three-point shooting. That would unlock the Nuggets offense, because bigs defending him in the pick and roll would have to be at the level of the screen, like how they currently defend, say, a Damian Lillard. This would open up more opportunities for Jokic in the short roll, where he's super dynamic and can create easy shots for himself or teammates. His first game in the bubble was a scrimmage against Orlando, and there were some positive takeaways in terms of his overall D. Here, he reacts quickly and runs Ennis off the line, funneling him into Grant, who gets a nice swat. Murray's defensive intuition is just getting better. He's in a pick and roll situation here and makes himself big, preventing a pass and allowing Jokic to recover. I feel like his athletic tools and reaction time might help him become a better defensive playmaker in the future. He snatches this one out of the air like a free safety. This is not the case every time though. He's split between Oubre coming down the wing and Cam Johnson in the corner. The play develops, and he ends up basically doing nothing. Right now, he's just not a very impactful defender, and plays that really move the needle on defense are few and far between. I doubt he'll ever make an all-defense team as a guard, but his off-ball rotations and physical tools do give me hope that he's headed in the right direction.
Good stuff there. Mike's full breakdown on Murray is linked in the description box below. Our third nugget is about Denver's 7-2 outside shooting reserve. Bol Squared played his first official NBA minutes in the bubble, and the 20-year-old rookie has provided a few highlights, but I'm not sure he shores up any of Denver's weaknesses right now. They've played him in a wildly entertaining jumbo lineup with 4 players over 6'10", but ironically this isn't a strong defensive unit. They experimented with Bol in a zone, but he needs to develop more physical strength and awareness to make up for a lack of foot speed in today's game, and the Nuggets don't really need his floor spacing on the offensive end. Thought number 4 is about bubble shooting in general. With no fans, many have wondered how stats like free throw percentage would change, and after a week or so, the teams there are indeed shooting better from the stripe. After years around 75 to 77%, teams in the bubble have started smoking hot, coming in just under 80%. These are above average teams, but that's still 2.2% higher than their pre-bubble shooting, and if you're wondering, 3-point percentage is almost exactly in line with their pre-shutdown numbers, so we might be seeing a small psychological boost from free throw shooting in an empty gym. Let's wrap up the Mile High theme with the newer, more slender Nikola Jokic. Skinny Jokic is finally embracing his inner point guard by bringing the ball up at times. That might stop when Denver's starting backcourt returns. And the real question is whether that weight loss helps Jokic without zapping his bully ball game. To me, he looks a quarter step quicker in some spots, which is certainly worth it, especially if his cardio and health are improved by carrying less weight. He seems to still be able to play a power game down low, banging into people and following misses. Of course, he still has his own Dirk fade going, the Sombor shuffle. And on the defensive end, any added endurance would help because Jokic is so often asked to attack the ball and then recover back to the lane. There's really nothing about his body recomposition that has changed his strengths on the defensive end. He's not suddenly vertical, and so Denver's still vulnerable defensively against the league's best teams. But on offense, Jokic and Porter Jr. seem to have synergy. Joker's incredible passing game and the extra shooting around him, especially if Murray and Gary Harris can find their shots in the bubble, make Denver an elite offense, and that's going to turn them into a difficult matchup in this year's postseason tournament. Remember to check out The Athletic for 40% off. Supporting sponsors really helps this channel and all things Thinking Basketball. And if you want more content there, head over to patreon.com/thinkingbasketball for additional videos, historical stats, articles, and more. Thanks for watching. I hope you're staying safe, enjoying the bubble basketball, and of course that you're having a great day.